Greetings, gentle viewers!
And howdy howdy!
Yeah, that's right, we're starting this episode on the menu screen.
Deal with it!
Got it? Deal with it, punks! Speaking of aggressively telling our audience to deal with it, we're the Bittersweet Gamers.
That certainly sums us up, and I am We Squared.
Sometimes it does seem like we do that a bit too much. Sorry about that. I do not mean to be excessively cantankerous.
Just moderately cantankerous.
Moderately cantankerous, definitely.
You gotta make sure you regulate your cantankerosity.
It is my intent to persuade. I have a realistic view of exactly how many people I can persuade, but it is my intent to do so nonetheless. I will never persuade anyone if I do not have a chance to make my case. The fact that you can somehow put up with me and watch me anyway is kind of amazing, so thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Damon.
I was talking to our wonderful patient viewers.
Oh.
Anyway, I don't want to waste time. Promise I'm not going to waste time, so I'm going to go fast. We did think about a few things.
In between recording sessions.
Our problem was there were a few things that just didn't make sense, that we did not quite understand. Everything didn't add up.
Mm-hmm.
And so we spent enough time thinking about it that I think, I was focusing on what didn't add up, and I think we actually got it right this time.
Right.
Okay, previously we had suspected Kibo primarily because he was in two places at one time. Also, the only people it could have been were Kibo, Kokichi, Gonta, and Kaito, but we'd ruled out Kaito.
Right.
Well, if we can rule out Kibo, that would sure help. The only reason we suspect him is because his voice was in two places at the same time. He was in two places.
Yes.
But he wasn't.
He wasn't, no.
We just misunderstood it. So, like I said, I'm not going to go through everything. I'm going to save more of the explanation for when we get to it. But if I don't tell you what I did now, I won't have any credibility when I told you that we already had figured this out. So, just to go fast, the main thing was the walls.
Yes.
They talk about the walls in a very deceptive way, which makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. But we clearly did not understand it, and I'm sure I'm sure everybody could tell that we did not understand it at the time. This is a lie. The map loading point should be on the right-hand side.
Yes.
You just shift everything kind of over. The chapel and the mansion are on the same screen. The wall that Miyu added was the one that she was there to walk through. It even tells you right there, we just missed it.
Yeah.
And they keep trying to make you miss it by putting that map loading point in the middle. It's like Shuichi says, but why is there a map loading point in the middle of the map? And something else that Monotaro said is that Miyu did add the maps on the wall. Well, if she hadn't have added the maps on the wall, we would have seen the old map,
which would have shown the entire thing as one piece.
Right, with the map loading point on a different part.
Yes. In actuality, the mansion and chapel aren't that far away from each other.
Yeah, they're right next to each other. That's why, with stuff like the loud noise,
both sides heard it.
Both sides heard it, because we were trying to figure out what this loud crashing was, as well as Kibo's voice, at the same time as figuring out what the loud sound was and Kibo talking here. So,
right.
That takes care of it. So if Kibo wasn't in two places at the same time,
then the only people who were unaccounted for on that side of the map were Kokichi and Gonta.
So to go pure narrative mode, it's not Kokichi, because Kokichi is even the person who's been talking about strangling people. He's talking about entertaining himself with his ever-spreading malice, and his rivalry with Kaito and Kaito's worldview has been building. What he wants to do more than anything else is to defeat the way that Kaito thinks.
Yes.
I do think that Kaito is excessively naive, but I find that he's right.
Yes, it's just he takes it a little too far sometimes.
He goes too far, but his position is correct.
Yeah.
Kokichi's is obviously wrong. If we were meant to think that Kokichi's position was right, he wouldn't be the antagonist.
That's how narrative works.
But the only way that it's going to make sense is if Gonta is the killer, which is really sad. But it has to be Gonta. First, this way Kokichi can finally prove to Kaito that in a killing game, even a trusted friend can be the killer.
Yes.
Now, that can only happen if you do a couple of things in advance, and that's why those things having been done is why Monokuma is uninterested. This isn't a fun killing game. it's been a setup. That's why he's bored. So if Kibo wasn't in two places at once, then we don't have to assume it was Kibo that did the funny thing with switching the chords.
Correct.
Switching consciousness and memory chords. We know that it was done.
Right.
There was an error that occurred, and that error was switching the chords. So if we know it's not Kibo because Kibo's doing, we know that he wasn't doing something funny, then the only person it could be is the dumb guy who still, even now, doesn't understand the virtual world.
And doesn't remember that they went there.
He doesn't understand it. He sounded like an idiot. Well, one way that might occur is if he doesn't remember. Okay, and then the last thing, that just means it has to be Gonta.
Yes.
That did that. So Gonta doesn't remember because he messed with his memory and consciousness.
Yes.
And Gonta was acting weird at the time, too. Which is probably like the consciousness thing affecting him. And I don't know. We have no idea. There's some stuff we can't know. So here's basically what we think. Kokichi went to the meeting.
Yeah.
That's what this truth bullet is about. He said the door was locked. There's no reason that door would be locked.
We tried really hard to come up with the reason why it would be locked, and none of it held water.
The only thing that I said at the time was wall hacks. And while there were wall hacks, they weren't door hacks.
Yeah.
Like Billy said, we tried as much as we could to come up with the reason that door's locked. The fact is, Kokichi is just lying.
I even forgot. He's a lockpicker. He could have easily unlocked the door if it was locked.
I didn't even think about that. You're right. That's absolutely the case.
Although I guess technically there doesn't have to be lockpicks in the virtual world, but still,
if he doesn't have lockpicks, he couldn't do it. Doesn't matter. He went to the meeting. He probably got touched by Miyu. Maybe he didn't. The point is he went with Gonta, who he'd been saying was his bodyguard.
Yes.
The whole time. Gonta was always seen with Kokichi here. They went there, and then Gonta
sees Miyu about to brain him with a hammer.
And does the thing that he's been saying he'd do, which is go to protect his friends. So he protected his friends. Now, how that goes to killing the other person, I don't know. How it turns into amnesiac dream Gonta strangling Dream Miyu with Dream toilet paper, I don't know. I don't know if Kokichi was carrying it and was gonna tell him to do it or what. But something like that had to have been how it happened. Until there's no way we can know at present, but I think that's the only way it could have happened, so it's going to, which really sucks. However, we're also due a tragedy, aren't we?
Yeah.
There hasn't been anything unfair.
You could argue that the first trial was kind of a tragedy.
It was a tragedy, but it wasn't unfair.
That's true.
Okay, let's see this through to the end.
Listen up, Kokichi. To hell with this game of suspicion crap. I will never be okay with it. I'm just gonna believe in everyone. Instead of suspecting my friends, I'm gonna find the truth by believing in them.
Well, if you think you can win this game like that, then sure, be my guest.
I just have to point out, in Danganronpa 1, that's how we won. And in Danganronpa 2, that's how we won. And in Ultra Despair Girls, that's how we won. Who's the one being naive?
Of course I can. I don't need your permission.
Really? Who's being naive?
How long are you guys going to argue? Let's hurry this up and continue.
Refusing to recognize evidence that you actually see with your eyes in favor of hewing to your own ideological priors doesn't make you wise.
If we don't find the culprit, then we'll all die, you know that?
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
If we are going to begin searching for the culprit, let's start with Kokichi's story.
Huh? My story?
You were meeting with Miyu, but she ended up as the victim.
Something that hasn't happened in this game. When I was talking about a tragedy and something being unfair, what hasn't happened is a weird rule violation. The rules haven't been violated. They've been not violated.
Okay, no, I see what you're saying.
In 2, it was just like several weird rules violations. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, because Monokuma had to make rulings on each one.
Right, and the ruling always went in the student's favor until...
until the very end with Chiaki.
And that's why the ruling had gone in the student's favor the whole time, is so they could really turn that last one around. Well, there haven't been rules violations this time, The last ruling we got in this series was Chiaki's, well, you made it happen. If that's the standard we're doing, it doesn't matter if someone ordered you to do it. The standard that's been hit with Peko and with Chiaki is the person physically responsible.
Yes.
Is the one who did it. So Kokichi can make Gonta do it all day long.
Yep.
And Gonta is the blackened.
Yep.
You can make the argument, but we've just got too much precedent in this game that's how it works. And that's why if you're fighting with self-defense, you shouldn't accidentally strangle someone with toilet paper.
So it's only natural for us to think you're the killer, right?
There's also other reasons for us to think you're the killer. You're really disagreeable and hostile.
Yeah, this whole chapter he's been saying he'd do it. Now he won't, because that's going to either happen next chapter or he's going to take over the game for real.
Right.
Here's my answer. I never met up with Mew.
You're lying. Since he's typically told the truth about important things, he can start lying in a trial and people can actually believe.
Yeah, that's the whole point of mostly telling the truth. So when you do tell a lie, they won't know. They won't be able to tell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You didn't?
Also, the Kokichi not being an antagonist thing, that only is up to a certain point, and we had been expecting that something was going to happen. So anyway.
I tried to go to the roof to meet up with her, but the door was locked.
Like Billy said, bruh, you can pick a lock. Of course, you have to have the lock picks, but...
But isn't lockpicking your specialty? You should have been able to open it easy.
Oh, Himiko, my sweet summer child. I love you so much.
I couldn't pick locks with my avatar body. I didn't have the tools for it either.
I hadn't thought about that either, like
Big
how
head.
stubby they are.
The big head gets in the way.
Also, I never went to the roof. Not even for the meeting.
Then how did you know the door was locked?
Because it doesn't matter. Who knows? I'm not going to make his own argument for him. Yeah, this is the truth bullet.
I remember you and Gonta went off together when we first started looking.
What was I saying?
Uh-huh.
But was the door to the roof actually locked? When I was on the roof before logging out, the door wasn't locked.
This is also why we could not go investigate. Because remember how I kept wanting to run around to all these places? I was right to want to go to those places, wasn't I?
You were? Yeah.
It's just that if I had gone to those places, the flow of the trial would be off.
Huh? How should I know?
Then who locked the door to the roof?
I already told you. How should I know?
Playing dumb, huh?
When I went to the roof, it wasn't locked. So you gotta be lying.
He didn't do it. I mean, I remember thinking maybe he did do something stupid like that, but if so, he'd just say that he did it.
Yeah.
What good would it be if I lied? I don't want to die either, you know.
Oh, don't you dare.
Ultimately, he can always just be like, oh, I lied. He's not going to let himself die.
Right.
They're actually going to vote for the right person in the end, but Kokichi wants to have his fun.
Lying would do you a lot of good if you're the culprit.
Also that.
Also, this makes it so that you can do a pretty interesting thing with the trial, where you're busy pushing at Kokichi, and Kokichi was lying about a lot of stuff, but isn't the person who killed the victim.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize that.
What kind of response is that? That's suspicious as hell!
Wait, there's no point in arguing about that now. The truth will come out eventually. Before we get to that, we need to discover the truth behind Mew's death.
What do we have? We just don't know. All we can do is eliminate people from consideration, and only Kokichi and Gonta are left.
Truth?
Unfortunately, if Kokichi doesn't say and Gonta doesn't remember, we'll never know.
Oh God, you're right. I hadn't thought about that. That kind of gives Kokichi all the power, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Woo!
That's what's been interesting about this particular game. Everyone's talking up Shuichi, but he's having to rely upon the murderer making horrendous mistakes.
Yeah.
There were mysterious circumstances surrounding her death.
And in this case, we'll never be able to figure it out. Not until we're told.
We need to make sense of those first.
Wow, Shuichi, you know your way around this game.
No, if stuff comes out, that's different, but still.
Yes, keep up the hard work. The fate of our lives rests in your hands.
So, what is this strange circumstance?
Kokichi claims it was Mew who chose the meeting place.
Was it really not? Kibo overheard it. We did at one point question this.
Well, because we thought Kibo might have been lying because he was the Blackened, but we don't think he's the Blackened anymore.
But I'm wondering how she got from the chapel to the mansion's roof.
Time to deal with the wall.
I see. Mew sent the bridge connecting the mansion and chapel into the river herself.
Right, just to make sure I understand. Wall added by Miyu says non-human objects. Miyu's avatar
is a non-human object.
This is the truth bullet that says she's set to object. Whoops! My hand slipped super obviously in front of everyone!
If that's the case, then Mew might not have even gone to the roof.
Huh? So she stood me up? It's very rude to break a promise.
It's true. First, we need to determine if Miyu was actually there or not, but that's not really too difficult.
So we need Tsumugi's account, because that proves she saw Miyu.
Oh, yeah. Whew. Did she go, or was she never on the roof at all? Like, why lie about some weird thing like Tsumugi's account? Like, I just saw her outside the window and thought
Mew
that
was
was
waiting
weird.
for me to arrive. I'm sure she was waiting on the rooftop of the mansion.
No, Mew should have been at the chapel.
Okay, this, isn't it? Tsumugi's account.
If you look at where her avatar
Right there, right?
Seems like it, yeah.
It's right next to the chapel.
That's true.
How would she have gotten to the mansion? There was no bridge over the river.
A bridge would be the only way to get across.
Well,
So, her meeting with Kokichi...
Well, the first thing we have to do is
stood
show
me
where
up?
she was.
yes, okay, you're right.
Yeah, it's even very close, so...
I'm sure she was waiting on the rooftop of the mansion.
Right here, isn't it?
No,
Yeah.
been at the chapel.
Yeah!
That's wrong!
Right in the V.
Take that, V!
Mew must have gone to the mansion. We have a witness.
Yeah, when I was searching the dining room, I saw Mew pass by the window.
Then why didn't you say so sooner?
To keep something like that in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought I was just mistaken at first, since there was no way she could have come to the mansion. But I guess I wasn't mistaken after all. That was definitely Mew.
Then, how did she get to the mansion from the chapel?
There must have been some special method only Mew knew, like with that cell phone.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that. That's why she dropped the bridge. If a murder occurred when it was impossible to cross the river, she wouldn't be implicated.
And she even had been talking about staying in the virtual world, so... It's just alibi manufacturing. Nobody expects her to behave rationally anyway.
She used a secret method to move from the chapel to the mansion for the murder.
She dropped the bridge to make a huge scene just to let everyone know it's no longer there.
Also, we wouldn't be able to have done this at all if it weren't for Monotaro.
That's true.
Really, Miyu's plan was actually perfect.
It was, yes.
And Monotaro wouldn't have been motivated
If it weren't for that mommy thing.
if she was still alive, he never would have been motivated to do it. So really, we just kind of stumbled into this accidentally.
So, what secret method did she use?
Wall hacks.
It won't be that easy to figure out. It's called a secret method for a reason.
And next, somebody is going to say, I know exactly what it is.
No worries, guys. As long as we leave it to Shuichi, everything will be A-okay.
Okay, we need to look at the truth bullets and see which one talks about non-object items passing through the wall. That's going to be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we already did this. See?
Well, right, but I couldn't remember which one actually said. Okay, that one. Wall added by Miyu.
Yeah, that's literally what I was doing a few minutes ago.
Yes, but I was just double checking.
Well, now you saw it too.
Okay.
What was it? I already forgot.
Okay, Monotaro.
Huh? Huh?
What are you saying? We can't just rely on Shuichi all the time. This class trial's for all of us. We're here to solve this together.
Yeah. Kokichi's
You would just slow down Shuichi.
just trying to overwhelm Shuichi. Like, push at his weakness.
Yeah. He's already shown that he does that. He's quite capable of just needling somebody until they break, but you can't ever let them break you. That's the thing. Someone intent to cut you down can always cut you down. You cannot stop them. It does not matter who you are. You don't have to be affected by it.
Right.
But you can't stop them. It's like rationality. You can reason your way into any batshit crazy position.
Yup.
Reason doesn't just go to one thing because the range of inputs in the world are just too large. So, really just attacking is enough to make this work. The trick is not letting it affect you, I guess.
Well, there's a reason it's called taking offense. Because there's a degree of that, you know?
A degree, I do.
I'm not trying to say anything in an absolute sense.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be careful with something kind of like victim blaming there.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to go that far, but there is a degree of that you can be mitigated by not letting it bother you, you know?
Yeah, that is very difficult, however.
No, I know.
Shut up!
I don't have time to deal with Kokichi. Right now, I need to focus on the case. Really, the reason I brought that up was actually just to say, just ignore the guy saying it. That's probably easier than ignoring what he says. I'm positive that Miyu used some talking the words, some special method. It was a mount. Okay, I just have to figure out what it was in this Hangman's Gambit that's surely gonna be ridiculous. I'm gonna save.
Nope, not a Hangman's Gambit.
Cool. Wall added by Miyu.
Way across that only Miyu knew about.
Like a hidden bridge besides that signboard, maybe.
Or, instead of bridge, Miyu used some kind of vehicle to go over.
Like a
Maybe
rocket.
she teleported with magic. Or she used a warp zone.
Maybe there's a place you could cross without a bridge.
Yeah, okay.
A hidden route that only Miyu
There we
could
go.
use to
Yes,
get
yes.
across.
Ah,
I
I
suppose
missed.
it is possible she used that to change places.
Well, now we know which one
Man,
it
you
is.
guys are way off. Or maybe I'm just pulling your legs.
Let go! Ah! Let go! You little vermin! Let go of my freaking foot! God, I've had a dog bigger than you! Ah, I can't shake him off!
How did he get in the house?
No, really, he's like pretty small.
A hidden route that
Where is
used
it?
to get across.
Where's the point?
I suppose it is possible she used that to
Oh.
change places.
I mean, I could just hit it,
It
but
popped out there right at the end.
okay, I'm gonna go for it one more time.
Okay.
A hidden route that only Miyu could use to get across.
Oh, there it is, only.
Wow!
I agree.
It paid off! I got my V-agree!
That's it, Kibo. There was a hidden route only Miyu could use.
I like how at the beginning of the game, I was like, screw this, I'm just gonna completely ignore the V point, and then since then, I've been like actively trying to get it every time.
Was there really?
Miyu modified the program to add a special wall to the world.
Now, I guess it's true that we probably would have asked about this if Miyu's plan would have worked and she had killed Kokichi. We probably would have asked somebody, but we wouldn't have been able to get the information.
Right.
So maybe we weren't completely saved by Monotaro and nothing else. You know, you could make the argument of we have to be able to get this information or it's just not fair. It's not a
Right.
fair game.
Right. And Monokuma is about being fair
Right.
when he
wouldn't-
wants to be.
He wouldn't tell you the answer, but he wouldn't give you, well, I doubt he would have given the information to you like Monotaro did.
Right.
In any case, that isn't what happened, but I suppose it's reasonable to think that.
The wall stretches along the y-axis, but we found two such walls in the virtual world.
It's the same wall!
This is why it's so confusing. I mean, it's intentionally confusing, I guess, but it's just, we're not thinking of it in that way.
Right.
It also makes more sense. It's not that it's looping from one side to the other. It's just moving on the map point and loading the opposite end.
Right.
It doesn't scroll through. It only scrolls through at the map loading point. It's just that everything needs to be shifted over to the right, and, you know, the screen needs to loop too. Everybody knows what I'm saying, right? It's this, okay? Ah!
It's unclear whether Mew added the wall by the mansion or the wall near the chapel.
No.
Just let him go through it.
We do know that that wall was set so that only objects could pass through.
Don't be naive, Shuichi.
Huh. I like that.
What is it, Kaito?
Of course, naive wasn't really what he was going for. That was Amaizo Shuichi, but that could mean a couple of different things.
Jeez, Mew set up a weird wall like that?
Yeah?
That is suspicious, but it's got nothing to do with what we were talking about.
Now this is where you're going to talk about the settings on her avatar.
Mew's avatar is going to be the thing. Now, last time I played this, I had completely forgotten the controls and failed, but it succeeded. Quickly.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with it.
Huh. You don't even realize your mistake? Are you losing your edge? Oh well, my sidekick's mistakes are my mistakes. I'll make it right.
Hey, this type of thing is only clarifying. Now I'm gonna pause to look at the controls. Because I was hitting the fire truth bullet instead of...
What we gotta figure out.
That's cut. Okay.
Is how Mew got from the chapel to the mansion, right?
There we go.
So why waste time talking about the... It's pointless. We gotta take a whole new approach here.
Hey, I like that.
You ready to button mash?
He was so straightforward.
Uh-huh.
It's Kaito. He's so straightforward.
No, wait just a second. It's not actually impossible at all.
But you just said so.
Like, he doesn't do circular reasoning.
That
He just...
wall Mew set up.
No, of course that's wrong.
Why'd you do that?
Force of habit.
Damn it!
Ugh.
You're getting caught up in his pace.
But you just said so, didn't you? That wall Mew set up only lets non-human objects go through. Humans aren't able to pass through.
Ah!
So Mew obviously wouldn't be able to go through that wall. She's not just an
There we go.
object.
There we
after
are.
all.
Dirt.
I'll cut through your words.
Now, getting the V on that, man, screw this.
Yeah.
It's like me trying to play a twin-stick shooter.
Oh god, I
the
can't
wall
do that
wasn't
either.
the only thing that Mew changed.
Yes, you can.
I don't like twin stick shooters.
I mean, that's fine if you like them. It's just, I can't be able to play every kind of video game.
She also changed her avatar settings from human to object.
From human to object?
Which means the virtual world treated her avatar as an object. She could have passed through a wall that only non-humans could go through.
Now, somehow Kokichi knew this, which probably has to do with the things he was talking to Monokuma about.
Yeah, the collusion with Monokuma was him getting more details about what Miyu did or something.
Or something. Because only someone who knew about the non-human object setting would have known to put Miyu on this lattice and slide it off.
Off the roof, yeah.
I guess you could have guessed, but still.
Is that right?
Don't get ahead of yourself, Kaito. We need to listen to everything Shuichi says.
Literally every revelation Kokichi has been like, yes, that's exactly how it was. Because he knew.
Uh-huh.
I already told you. The more you try, the more you cause us trouble.
Maybe it's not that Monokuma thinks this game isn't fun or unfair, but he realizes that he's been usurped as the mastermind by Kokichi, who possibly was the mastermind the whole time, but it's just he doesn't have anything to do now.
Yeah.
It's so totally lame that your own sidekick is dissing you!
Kokichi, enough! I wasn't arguing with him. I was just explaining.
Just throw out an insult and ignore him.
I don't care. That doesn't bother me at all.
Oh, for God's sake, Kaito, come on!
It just means even I make mistakes. Don't worry about it, Shuichi.
Okay.
It's It's pretty funny seeing Kaito try to act all tough like this.
This is really well written. I am really, really impressed with this particular trial. It's like very quick and to the point, but the purpose is seeing Kokichi just constantly needle, jab, 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 needle, 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 jab, jab, jab. He's completely in control. It's so fascinating.
Kokichi, please refrain from making such irrelevant and irrational remarks.
Oh, because that's gonna work.
Every 2 or 3 lines is Kokichi.
Mm-hmm.
So, if Mew messed with the program and made a wall only she could go through...
And we're just blazing through this so easily. I'm so paranoid.
A lot of the trial is going to be spent on, like, pegging it on the actual killer.
Yeah.
The mechanics of this one aren't really the focus.
Yeah.
It's not that they're not, it's not that they're obvious. They're just not the focus, so we're getting the mechanics fast.
Then her secret route was through that wall?
That's it, right? Like using a glitch in a game to walk outside the map.
Like I've said for a trillion episodes, wall hacks.
I bet Mew had a hidden passage like that in the back of the chapel.
But even if she could walk through walls, was there really a hidden passage?
Well, we can prove that pretty easily. And this is a fair question. The signboard.
Yeah. Because it passed through the wall via the river.
Though I guess we can't prove, we don't have something that says that. But the signboard did pass to the other side.
'Cause Mew said...
No, you're not trapped here. Beyond that wall is the end of the world, literally. So don't mess around with it. Don't think about it. Pay it no mind. Don't think about it at all. Got it, please? Past that wall, nothing exists. Everything ends there, including your lives.
She probably lied. There would be no point in going if there was nothing on the other side.
Mew lied.
I wonder what the truth is. There's no way to find out now.
Signboard! Also the lattice. If we can't, we don't
have anything that proves the lattice came from the warehouse.
That's right. We can't prove that it came from the... Wait a minute. Yeah, okay. We know it was there.
Well, we know it wasn't in the chapel. That's what that says.
Right.
So it could only have come from the mansion if it wasn't in the chapel.
Yeah, I suppose we don't have a truth bullet that says it was in the mansion, but we know it wasn't.
We have a truth bullet that says it wasn't in the chapel, and that's good enough.
That cum-soaked urinal cake was totally lying about there being nothing past the wall.
I love how he gets so pissy when someone else lies.
She lived a life of pride, vulgarity, and secrets. Lying would be a piece of cake for her.
No comment.
Kokichi, you no have to go that far.
Stop it! Don't badmouth Mommy!
Well, maybe if Mommy didn't badmouth everybody else, and, try to kill us all.
Oh, yeah.
Unnatural?
Listen to you, talking about Mommy like she was a terrible lying whore.
Well, she was terrible in lying. I don't think she's a whore, though, even though she acts like one.
She sure talked like she was a terrible lying whore.
But Mommy wasn't lying. There was no hidden route in that virtual world.
That's right.
Oh, there wasn't, huh?
Hey! You can't tell them such an important hint!
We knew that already.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. We've got it figured out. You go from the map loop point, and the map loops.
Yeah.
Oh, if you say that hint is important, then I guess it must be true.
Oh, shoot!
Ah, jeez. You're lucky you're cute.
And that Monokuma doesn't seem to be in a particular mood to chastise you.
Well, he's just going through the motions. Ultimately, this is what he'd say. Was Kokichi saying all that stuff about Miyu to get the Cubs to reveal something? I don't know. Maybe. I guess I should thank him, but I have no idea why he does things sometimes.
I don't see why that's important information in any way, shape, or form.
So now that we know there's no hidden route, why did she manipulate the program?
Huh?
to hide everything.
So that when she killed you after dropping the bridge, she would be like, I was over on the chapel side. I could not have... What?
She probably didn't realize that the signboard was going to get caught up on the rocks.
That sounds like the kind of mistake Miyu would make, yes.
Or figured that maybe nobody would really notice that part because of the wall thing. Honestly, it was like a good trick.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't be able to do anything but offer speculation. We wouldn't have any proof. It's just that now, because of Monotaro, we have proof.
Well, the only one who found the board was Kokichi. It was in an out-of-the-way place. No one would have any reason to be looking in.
I kept running there. I kept going to every out-of-the-way place every single time.
Yes, but that's you.
I bet at least 60% of players ran around too.
I mean, yeah, but that's you. I'm talking about these schlubos.
Okay, fair enough.
If there's actually nothing past the wall, then that setting was meaningless.
Yeah, but the setting isn't meaningless, so there...
Yeah!
You wouldn't have done something meaningless. She would have had a plan.
It really was a great plan.
Oh, yeah!
It was just like Korekiyo. If you're in charge of it, and you have control over all the parameters, and then a murder happened,
yeah.
It was probably you!
Yes. Mew definitely wanted to be able to go through that wall for a reason. We aren't sure why yet, but once we solve the mystery of the virtual world...
Guys.
What the fuck?
Mystery of virtual world?
There have been a
See,
lot
there he
of
goes
strange
again.
occurrences in the virtual world.
See, at first I was upset because it seemed like haha gonta dumb, but
Yeah.
it's the clue now.
Yeah,
this is the clue.
Yeah, I was even like kind of ranting about why does he have to be so dumb? We didn't think he was this dumb. It seems as though he's got dumber. But actually, that was your clue.
Yeah.
If we can determine why, we will also determine what Mew was up to.
Guys!
What? Kyoko's not a ghost!
We'll know why she wanted to pass through the wall.
All right, let's clear up those strange occurrences.
Yeah, Gonta will help, even though Gonta not know what you're talking about.
He keeps saying these things, guys.
Speaking of strange occurrences, I'm just plain worried about that one thing.
Yeah?
The loud noise.
Remember? That thing that made us notice all the strange occurrences?
Something was really bothering me.
The events that led us there. What's the name of it?
Loud noise.
Loud noise, okay.
Very straightforward.
This is it! You mean the loud sound that you and I heard in the kitchen?
Ah!
What? What was that sound? It sounded as if...
It sounded as if you're reading my line. Something was struck very hard, you thief. It just plain came from outside.
Sorry, I get a little overeager.
You all heard that sound too?
Guys, you all heard the sound? Fake wall?
Yes, in the mansion's kitchen.
Fake wall?
But that sound occurred near the chapel. How did you hear it all the way at the mansion?
Also, you know, we had initially pegged it on Kibo because of our misunderstanding of this current event.
Right.
But seeing the way he's acting would really be, was odd.
Yeah.
We already know how it works now and that it wasn't him, but, I mean, I feel like this would start to make us question that if we hadn't already, you know?
First off, sound can't go past the map loading point.
Yeah, but that was a wall, not a map loading point, and Miyu added the wall.
Yes.
We only know that sound can't go past a map loading point.
Did that sound really come from the chapel?
That sound was something hitting the chapel wall. It was real loud.
And we definitely heard it. We heard Kibo's voice as well.
The whole reason we suspected Kibo was the two places at once, but if he wasn't in two places at once, then...
For now,
oh, you were waiting for me! You thought it was gonna be my line, huh?
Let's go outside and check.
Is something bothering you?
Something's bothering me. Oh, no!
No, it's yours.
What?
You're so hungry for them, you can have them all.
That was Kibo's voice, right? I think I heard him outside. He sounded close.
You heard my voice too?
What? That is pretty strange.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
That has to be some kind of clue to the mystery of the virtual world.
Well, we've been focusing on this clue from the moment that we got it, trying to figure out what it meant, and gone through a couple iterations of it.
Okay, well, let's check the answers later and try to find all the other clues first. There was another mysterious phenomenon in the virtual world, wasn't there?
Kokichi talked like he noticed something. Pretending not to know?
That's so not like Kokichi at all.
Even Gonta is suspicious of me? I always thought you would be the one to trust me!
Sorry, going to not mean it like that.
See? As always, it's so easy for Kokichi to manipulate Gonta.
It's easy for everyone to manipulate
I know
Gonta.
you say that, that's cool, but we don't see that.
You're right.
All we see
That's true.
is
That's
Kokichi
true.
manipulating Gonta by saying anybody else can do it.
Oh yeah, it does kind of sound like a rebuttal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't mean it like that at all.
But I mean, it also changes the focus away from what you do actually see, which is throughout the game, Kokichi manipulating Gonta to get him to take drastic and ridiculous actions he wouldn't have otherwise. As soon as you try to say something else about it, then you're wiping all that away.
Okay, I was just trying to make a joke, but I get where you're coming from, yeah.
There's no need to apologize to him. He's probably just lying again.
What was the other strange occurrence? Did you see it, Shuichi?
What are we talking about here? The location of Miyu's body? Another mysterious phenomenon?
Uh-oh.
What are we talking about? Found frozen and collapsed in the snow between the chapel and the wall. I guess Miyu's avatar would be the one to say her location, right? If that's what we're trying to say.
I'm not sure what we're trying to say.
Something that shouldn't be possible, like Miyu in the mansion, or that loud noise.
The lattice?
I need to remember everything else that happened in there. Okay.
Uh-oh.
What weird phenomenon happened? Well, we don't really know what they're talking about, so...
Yeah.
It's gonna kind of go sort of at random. What does that do?
Ah, the sign!
It'd be that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna take it yet. For one, there might be...
I mean, that's just like the clock. Nothing weird about the clock.
Yeah, we know there's nothing weird about the clock. But now I'm gonna get in the spirit and actually play the game, you know? I really don't know why I'm doing that, to be honest. Darn it. Nothing?
Well, nothing in the kitchen. So yeah, it's that.
I see it! The sign that we were using as a bridge was odd to me.
Because if there was nothing past the wall, and the object went through the wall, it should have, like, vanished into nothingness, you know?
Yeah, we've just never seen anything vanish into nothingness. I guess we didn't see it because it would have vanished.
That is the tautology, yes.
Odd how? We mentioned it before, but Miyu dropped the sign in the river.
Whoops! This is the third... Do you want this one, Billy? You know what? Why don't you go ahead? You just plain want to read the line.
Whoops! My hand slipped.
Tsumugi, how dare you!
We found it later, but there was something unnatural about it.
Finding the sign was definitely weird.
I'm most confused by how the sign got there. Okay, I'm done.
Do you want to take over this trial?
Okay, I'm done.
I should remember exactly what happened with that sign! Okay, here I go.
What?
Another one? Okay, look for Akuma. Oh, it's moving. Oh, yeah. Good. Darn, I was right. It really was on that side. Oh well, life goes on. Naya, go! Okay, at which point was it swept away?
I'm not sure what they're asking.
I mean, I understand what they mean, but I don't know how to answer. So we might get it wrong, you know? Because we know what they're talking about.
Mansion. No, river. Right? It was swept away at the river. Whew.
That's only, yeah.
I kind of thought they meant the mansion side too, you know?
Well, it went out on the river, over to the river. Like the rocks onto the mansion side.
Right.
Just dealing with the language that they want. Whoa. Oh, whoa. Ah! It's dangerous. Traffic accidents could happen here. You okay with that? Watching the accidents happen? Huh? Uh-oh, now come the cars. Oh no, now come the cars. At last. No!
We already got them all. The end of the river is on the chapel side, I assume is what they're going to be asking?
Well, I don't know what those terms mean.
Right?
So we can't use those. The end of the river is the map loading point.
Transition point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in as much as they're... Okay, what...
Then it was chapel side. Because the river flows that way.
Okay, that's... I don't believe that's right.
Well, that's where they think it is.
Yeah, I don't understand what these terms mean. Like, what's the difference between that and the river? And it doesn't end anywhere in any case. I mean, because we have either of us ever thought about this in terms of end of the river?
Oh no, not
Does
at all.
thinking about it as the end of the river make any sense? Is that helpful in some way?
No.
All it's doing is confusing the way that I'm thinking about it, and that is the way that these games go. But I'm just like, that's not obvious. It's not necessary to think like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I kind of have a problem with
the terminology.
No, I mean I'm doing a bit of sour grapes myself, but you know these games are always like that. Where was the signboard after it was swept away?
Well, mansion side.
Also, can I take a minute to appreciate that when we did get the miss, it was like a splatter.
Yeah.
Like, quite amusing. Okay, now.
Oh, whoa, I didn't realize there was 4 of them. Where's the 4th one going to go?
Well, I mean, look at the road.
Oh, dear.
Good! But this just seems like And I mean, some of this has to do with translation, not like as saying it's an error or a bad translation, but just like these are the problems that you run into in a translation. Is that there's sometimes nothing you can do. Languages express things differently. No errors were made, but maybe this would make more sense in Japanese, so I don't really see how. I don't have to, it doesn't matter. The signboard floated with the current of the river. But this does seem just an overly complicated way to think about all this.
Yeah!
Then again, maybe that's because we played games like this.
Well, to the right, or with the current.
Yeah, with the current.
Oh, I see. We're pointing out the weirdness. Okay.
What?
Based on what they know, it looks like the sign floated against the current. Remember, we're trying to establish that this is an unusual, weird thing.
Huh?
I don't agree that we should have gone about it this way.
That's not what it did!
That isn't what it did, no.
No, that isn't what it did!
It appeared as though the sign...
No, it didn't! No, I understand what they're saying. This is the point that I always get at. If you come at things thinking about them in a different way, then it's awkward and this is very confusing. And yes, it's no one person can put up a situation in which everybody can figure out and think about it the same way, okay? But you like follow the arrows. That's the direction it went. That's not against the current. We knew about the map loading point. The map loading point isn't a mystery at this point.
Right.
It's not. We've known about the map loading point from like the moment we left the mansion. So it looks like it followed the current through the map loading point.
Right?
The map loading point isn't the wall. The map loading point has never been referred to as a wall. There's no nothingness on the other side of a map loading point. We know what's on the other side of the map loading point.
I agree.
Whatever.
was carried against the river's current.
Would anybody really think that?
We all saw Mew drop the sign and watched the river carry it downstream.
Well, Shuichi's all like, which wall was added? You know?
And the river was wide there. The sign should have traveled downriver toward the chapel, correct?
That is what happened.
On the map, there's arrows indicating the current of the river, guys. Okay, whatever.
It should have hit the wall on the far side of the chapel and stopped there.
Guys. The wall had a special setting that allowed non-human objects to pass through it.
We've already established this.
Even if it didn't, even if we hadn't established this is not hard.
But that's not where we found it.
How many people
we
were
found
really...
it near the mansion, nestled in some rocks.
How many people were really confused by that?
The signboard should have been near the chapel, but we found it on the other side.
Hold up. Didn't you stay on the chapel side? She probably grabbed the signboard from the chapel wall to cross the river.
What?
Then left it on the boulders near the mansion so she could get back.
Why would she leave the signboard where it could get swept away and leave her stranded?
Guys, okay, no, it's fine.
She can walk through the wall in any case.
Also, this has nothing to do with walking through the wall, right? We're getting off topic.
We're not actually. This isn't supposed to be a mystery. This is supposed to be the thing that proves stuff.
Yeah! So why are we wasting time?
Like, the stuff that we've gone through up until now so easily and quickly was much more challenging, or a lot of it was much more challenging than this. But, you know, people think different ways.
We're so close to the truth. We just have to connect the how and what. All the mysterious things that happened have to connect with each other somehow.
Connect how?
A wall only objects can pass through. Sounds that shouldn't be heard. A signboard going against the river current. How are they all connected?
To be fair, it was understanding the full aspect of this that enabled us to, like, come to the truth of the case.
That's true.
We had the signboard going against the river current, and the wall only objects could pass through. We had that part, no problem. But it was that sound that shouldn't be heard. We didn't have it.
Right.
In the last episode, we still didn't know that, so...
I don't know, but Shuichi should know, right?
It's just that once we've put that together, then we are at our answer.
What?
So I'm not trying to, like, underestimate how difficult the whole thing is.
Right.
We would be in a lot of trouble if you didn't.
Needle.
The only one who can solve this mystery and save us all is you.
So, how are they connected? Do you know Shuichi?
Well, what we know so far is that...
And Himiko, she just kind of unconsciously absorbs the things that Kokichi says. Not anything about his worldview, but he just takes a robophobic dump all over Kibo, and then Himiko starts doing it later on. And Kokichi is like, only Shuichi can save us, and now she's just jumping right on with that. Kind of interesting. But she is very impressionable. We've seen it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not criticizing her, and she's come a long way.
Oh yeah, it helps that a lot of the people she has been impressed upon by were good people.
The unnatural way the sign was carried is possibly related to the wall.
Possibly.
You don't say.
What? What clue is related to the... Are you talking about...
The wall added by Miu? Yeah, that should be it, right?
This is it!
Okay.
Yeah!
It might have to do with a wall that only objects can pass through.
You mean the objects pass through the wall that only walls can pass? I said that wrong.
The sign should have stopped at the wall on the other side of the chapel.
See, much like how I didn't understand this at first, like none of us understood it at first. The way Billy and I were talking about it, we were talking right past each other, and Shuichi was saying something completely different, talking about two walls.
Yeah.
I'm like, but we weren't focused on two walls.
But if that wall happened to be the one that Miu set to allow objects through...
I see. It's a wall only non-humans can pass through. That means the signboard can pass through the wall, right?
Well, if Miu could pass through the wall and went from the chapel to the mansion, which we've already established, and she's classified as an object, then wouldn't another object passing through the same wall also go to the other side?
Yes.
As opposed to somewhere else?
Even if it could pass through the chapel wall, how'd it end up by the mansion?
Like,
God, people!
This is the thing that you deal with before the Miu goes through the wall thing.
Yeah!
The only way it could do that is if the wall was a warp zone. But it's not, right?
Yeah, there's no special vehicles or modes or transportation or something, but the real issue here is that it's gonna be something really bizarre. How could the signboard pass through the wall but end up on the mansion side? Well, how can Miu pass through the wall? You've already established this! What would explain that?
Leave it to me, Shuichi. I, your partner, will give you hints in times of trouble.
Now it's going to be Hangman's Gambit, but Kokichi is going to be, like, changing the letters to something else. But they'll actually be the first letter that they were. What? No!
This is the virtual world. We should throw away all of our common sense, okay?
Tsumugi, please. Tsumugi, surely you have played a video game.
Huh? The hell does that even mean?
She's made references. Of course she's played video games.
Kokichi might be onto something there. We need to forget about what we know and just think about it. Perhaps I've just been thinking, but 16-bit video games, and have never batted an eye. Anyway, how did the signboard pass through the wall downstream and end up upstream? Putting common sense aside and focusing on the flow of the river...
I don't think you can... The downstream and upstream connect.
That's it!
Again, a very complicated way of looking at this.
What if both ends of the river were connected?
Huh? Both ends of river connected?
Miu went past through there.
Yes!
Exactly. To put it another way, the river isn't cut off at the wall near the chapel.
We've, like, already established this.
It's all part of one big loop. The upstream part of the river is connected to it.
What? What are you talking about? Both ends of the river can't...
We might not have thought about it like this if the game's visuals weren't presented like a game.
Yeah, exactly.
If they were presented like the game normally is, we might not have thought about it this way, and this would have been surprising.
Yeah.
But we were primed to think about it that way.
Again, throw out all common sense from your head. We're talking about the virtual world.
No, I think you can common sense your way into this.
Well, anyway, we should stop beating a dead horse. It's awkward. Let's just end it here before they really get going on another point.
Okay.
And we'll leave them alone and stop beating them up. I mean, really, it is true that something I was saying was people think of things differently. You know, we had a lot of people being so surprised that we were so confident that Korekiyo could just walk straight in the middle
Yeah.
of a dark room. That seems like it makes sense to us. And again, both Billy and I can do it.
Yeah.
I guess they just don't know anything about... I don't know. It doesn't matter. We know the answer. That's all that counts. I don't think about it like upstream or downstream. I'll just wave my arms around like some kind of mad chicken.
Cut it out.
Or whatever.
You keep almost hitting me.
Bye!
Stop it.
笑ってふざけ合っても何かが違う何か足りない誰にも言えないこと答え探してみても何が正しい何が間違いゆらゆら揺れる迷いを吹き飛ばせ石物は一段遠くても星さいつでも君のために戦うのさ未来はもう止まらない明日も輝くだろう何度だ